Hello, hello. I'm live and it's December 28th, 2023. And I am so excited to be here to share with you my wins for the year, as well as some of the things that I didn't reach exactly. So that is what I have in store for today. And before we get started, I see that one person has joined. Can you tell me if you can hear me? Type in the chat, yes, I can hear you. If you can type in the chat where you're joining from. And I'd love to hear what some of your wins for 2023 have been, because I'm going to go through some of mine and some of the things that I wish I had done better, and maybe kind of tease some things for 2024. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me? As I'm waiting for people to type in the chat whether or not they can hear me, I am going to introduce myself. My name is Patricia Brooks, and I help single women move abroad confidently and sustainably. I help them to finally move out of that desire and the kind of stuckness of wanting to do something that feels really challenging. And I help them to move through that, create a vision, or work on that vision, create habits and beliefs that support that, and finally make a move abroad and do it in a way that feels in line with their values. And so that is what I do. That's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years, and it feels amazing. Before that, I was a project manager in Richmond, Virginia, before I moved to the south of France, where I've been here in January, will make 6 whole years. And I can't believe I'm saying it. I can't believe that I'm saying, oh, yeah, I have lived in France for 6 years, because there was a time when I didn't believe that this was possible for me. I really wanted it. And I couldn't see a way forward because, well, how was I going to get a job, or how was I going to support myself? But my intuition helped me to move through some of that stuckness. I went through coach training, and that helped me to help coach myself through that. And now that's what I do. I help other people get unstuck and finally start living their dream life abroad. So today, I am going to share with you the 8 things that I set as intentions for 2023 and how well I did in reaching those. All right. So I'm not seeing, oh, there are comments. I'm not looking at the right thing. Oh, here we go. I'm looking at the wrong set of comments. I'm like, nobody's commenting. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Diane. Hi, Eleanor. Bonjour. Loud and clear, loud and clear. Catherine from Philadelphia. Yes, I was born in Philadelphia, raised outside of Philadelphia, so in southern Jersey. Yes, Southern Rose, Tia D. I'm glad that you are here today too. So with that, I'm going to jump right into what I'm going to share with you today. Back in January of 2023, I set 8 intentions for 2023. I don't necessarily set New Year's resolutions because they're so easy to break. It's just something, it's kind of a joke, I think. But I do believe in setting goals, and they don't necessarily have to be at the beginning of the year. I know that when I set my weight loss goal, when I set out to lose weight, it was in March. So it was really, when it struck me. So you don't have to set goals at the beginning of the year, but these 8 corresponded with the beginning of the year. So I'm going to start off with the ones that I didn't do so well with. And I think one of the reasons we tend not to do well with intentions or goals or resolutions or whatever you want to call them is because we lose sight of them, right? We say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this thing because I think it's going to help me in some way. And then we write it someplace and we don't look at it again. And then come the end of the year when I'm like, oh, I'm doing this live. Oh, let me remind myself of what I told everybody I was going to do. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that. I didn't even touch that one. So I'm going to start out there and then get to the ones that I would consider real wins. So And if you haven't seen that video, I put a link to that video in the description of this one, so you can go check that out. But one that I did not do so well with, and I had broken these down into two categories: things that I wanted to continue doing, and things that were new intentions, something new I was setting for 2023. And one of the ones that was to continue was to improve my French and my French diction, right? I'm constantly improving my French because I'm here in France. I'm learning every day. I'm speaking it every day. I that has happened. I have definitely advanced with my French, but the diction, specifically in pronouncing words in a manner that's more French, I did not do. And I had said that I wanted to perhaps hire a coach, somebody to help me with that. One of the things I said I was going to do in order to do that was my books have been translated into French. And I said, oh, I want to record a chapter of my book in French for myself to practice my French diction, and maybe have a coach help me to say, oh, no, you didn't say this word properly, or whatever the problems were. I didn't do any of that. So for this one, continue, to improve my French and the diction, I would give myself a 7 in this one, a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, yeah, I knocked it out of the park, 1 being I didn't do anything on it. I give myself a 7 still, because I am improving. I am improving my diction, I'm sure, and I am advancing in the French language. It just is something that is too important to me. But did I do the thing that I said that I was going to do, to be very conscious of? No. And that, as I said again, is because, well, I kind of lost sight of it. I said it, yeah, I was like, I had high hopes, and then I didn't look at it again. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't do that. That would have been nice to have done. Didn't get done. So that's one that I don't think I did that well on. And another one was, I had said that I wanted to become a TEDx speaker. And I give myself a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 out of this. And it's not because I didn't try. It's not because I didn't apply even. I did apply for a TEDx event in Virginia, and I did not get accepted. And I feel like part of that was my heart wasn't truly in it. And I think that's why I give myself a lower score in that, because I said that I wanted to do it in the beginning, and then I kind of petered out with that. So I do want to continue to public speak. TEDx is still something I would love to do. I think one of the reasons I wasn't so motivated was because each TEDx has a different topic that you have to kind of fit into. And I felt like what I wanted to speak about, I kind of had to make fit, and it just didn't feel like it really fit. It felt like I was kind of forcing it. So those two, I think, are the ones that I did not do the best in. There's another one, do 2 house sits. So this was a new one as well. Do 2 house sits in a different area, a different region. Now, I did do house sits. I can give myself a 7 out of 10 on this as well, because I did do 2 house sits. One was here in my village for a friend, and it was for about a week's time. And it was in an incredible house with a spectacular view. On a clear day, you could see all the way to the Mediterranean. So it was well worth it. And another one was about 30 minutes from here in La Roque des Alberts. And I did that. I did one in February, and then I did one at the same place just last week. And that got me out and gave me a change of scenery and all of that. But I wanted to do a house sit in a different area so I could really kind of explore. And that didn't happen on Trusted House Sitters, but that didn't happen. And one of the reasons that didn't happen was because after my house sit in February, which went well, I thought, yeah, I don't know if house sitting is the thing I want to do. And house sitting for dogs, I love animals, but dogs are a little bit more high maintenance than cats. I'm a cat person at heart. Maybe house sitting wasn't for me. And so I didn't do a lot of looking. I wasn't very aggressive with that. So that is another one. So that's 3 down. Can you relate to any of the reasons that you might have fallen short on some of the things that you set out for yourself for this year? Let me know. Let me know in the comments what things kind of keep you from reaching the goals that you set for yourself. Okay. So those are three. Another one that I think those are the lowest ones. So now I'm going to go to ones that I feel better about. Feel like, okay, yeah, now I can really shine on this. And the first one is something I was wanted to continue to do, and that was to have a spirit of equanimity. And by that I meant to be calm in the face of things that might be feel stressful. And that is really important to me because a core value of mine is peace and tranquility, just kind of to go with the flow. That's why I named my program the Carefree Expat Incubator, because being carefree, it doesn't mean that you don't have problems, but it means that, well, when you're dealing with them, you're able to be a little more lighthearted about it. And when you are, then things seem to work out more easily or in your favor. And so that is something that I really worked hard to do this year through meditation, through mindfulness, for just being present. And I had some food allergies or sensitivities this year, this whole year, which was quite a pain in the butt. I traveled a little bit, and so I had to pack lots of food with me. But even with that, I was able to really enjoy myself and enjoy life. And so I feel like I managed that in a way that was good. Also in September, in the September timeframe, right before I was heading out to my in-person meetup with members of my program in Marseille, about a week and a half before, I thought I lost my purse with all my credit cards and all, my carte de séjour and all this important paperwork. And I was getting ready to be panicky, but I went to the mairie and I went to the police municipale and the sous-prefecture and the gendarmerie. And at every turn, the people were not very concerned. Somebody had told me about, French people tend to be unconcerned, and they, just have a level of kind of aloofness. And that's what I was coming up against. But I took a cue from them saying, well, if it's lost, I'm going to have to get all of this paperwork back. And it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be a hassle, but my getting upset about it and panicking isn't going to make it better. And so in, taking a cue from them, I really stepped into this equanimity, and it felt really good. It felt really good to kind of be like, okay, yeah, I did a stupid thing. I misplaced my purse and I can't find it. And somebody might have my credit cards, but there's only so much I can do. About 3 days before my trip to Marseille, I found the purse hanging on the back of my kitchen door, underneath bags and other things. So, and I had already reordered my credit cards and all of that. But this is why I want to have this kind of spirit, because it just makes things, you take yourself a little less seriously and things seem to flow for you. Okay. So that is one that I feel I did pretty well on. I've got some comments here. Let's see. Dion, you said poor time management. Yes. And I think time management is crucial, because I think part of that is sometimes we set too many priorities, right? We say, oh yes, I'm going to do these 8 things in 2023, when really maybe 6 things is really the limit. And then in doing that, looking at, well, when are you going to find time to, practice Spanish or French or whatever the goal is? When are you going to find time to do that? Put it in your calendar and then actually do it when you say you're going to do it. So poor time management, I think, is something that probably derailed me a little bit on some of the goals that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. I'll talk about right now. And one of them is to have completed a draft of my manuscript for my 3rd book. Now, I said, we're December 28th. And so I've got 3 days left to get the draft finished. And I am so very far along. And I have gotten so much done between October 1st and now, right? But I had the whole year. I set this back in January. So if I had managed my time a little bit better, I wouldn't be scrambling at the last minute, wouldn't be wondering, well, is it going to be finished or is it going to be a week late? Because, well, really, realistically, putting the pieces together and seeing how it flows and seeing if I need another chapter will take another week. That was due to poor time management. If I had broken it down over the course of the 12 months and said, yeah, okay, over 12 months, I need to write a chapter a month, or a chapter and a half a month, and get it done that way, that would have been great. But I think the tendency is to kind of wait to the last minute. And I didn't used to be a brinksman, somebody who waits to the last minute and then, pulls an all-nighter and then gets it done and gets it done well. I dated somebody like that and it drove me crazy, but he always pulled it out in the end. Now, however, I am starting to be more and more like that. So poor time management, I think, is starting to fall into my court a little bit more and more frequently these days. Southern Rose, Tia D. Let's see what you said. I put down every major goal this year. I needed to get back to my truest desires and create goals from that space. I think that is huge because sometimes we will set goals that aren't really ours. And when we don't, then we don't really follow through because it's really not that important to us. It's not something that speaks to us. And so I think making sure that the goals that you set are in line with your values and in line with what it is you truly want to do and become. So that is such a good point. Such a good point. And I think most of mine have done that. I think perhaps maybe the TEDx talk, I was influenced a little bit by, I did a speech 3 years ago and somebody said, oh, you should be a TEDx speaker. And at the time I thought no, but then last year I thought, well, maybe now's the time, but maybe I wasn't quite ready. Maybe that really wasn't truly in alignment. Maybe 2024, I don't know, but I think it's a really good point. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So, and feel free to share your wins. What did you set out to accomplish for 2023 and what did you do? And even if you didn't reach your goal, like I might not, I'm still going to push hard to get this draft done and feel like, yeah, all I need to do now is find somebody who's going to help me really shape this up and add things that might be missing that I had blind spots to. So I'm really going to work hard to do that. But even if my poor time management and becoming a brinksman has caused me to maybe miss that, I still did so much in getting as far as I did by now. So even if you set a goal that maybe you didn't reach completely, but that you're proud of, let me know what those are in the comments. Okay. And then I'll address those. All right. So tackled the carefree equanimity. I also tackled the book, which I'm pleased to say is coming along. Next year will be the year that it gets published. I'm not sure when. Mid-year I'm shooting for, but we will see. Time will tell. What else have I committed to doing for 2023? Build community here in France. So for me, I don't like to say I'm an introvert because I don't want that to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I say I have introvert tendencies. And that means that it's hard for me to put myself out there. Somebody invites me to a party. Like I went to a Christmas party on Sunday or Monday, and I was dreading it. I was like, oh, I go and I gotta you know, be on. And that just doesn't come naturally to me. So but I went, and it was the best experience because it was not as big a party as I thought, right? There were fewer people there. So that helped me. I knew the people. I'd been at a party over the summer, and maybe that helped as well. But it was a really good experience. I had, um, there were people from, there's a person from Israel, somebody from Ireland, some people, some Brits, another American. So it was a really good cultural experience and diversity, and we all each brought a dish. So I kind of had some things I would never have had I not gone and really shown up for this event. So building community, that was one. I actually had a second lunch event that I went to as well. So definitely making friends here, definitely feeling like this is home to me. On Tuesday or Wednesday, I went out with a friend who is living in Sweden now, but she's got a house here in France. And so we reconnected and we sat at a cafe and we were talking, over the course of 2 hours. And over that time, 3 or 4 people came by and said hi to me or to her, people that I knew. And it felt really good to know that I'm known in the community. I have acquaintances and friends here. And this is really home to me. So I feel like I did well with this in building community. And I gave myself a 9 out of 10 on that one. I'm really excited about that, proud about that. And I want to continue that for 2024, of course. So I'm really excited about that. So some more comments. Hi, Maria. Yes, thank you. Yes, but I think transparency is so important because if I'm not transparent to you, I feel like I'm not being honest with myself. And, the only way that I'm going to improve is or help people, right? Because if I'm saying, oh yeah, look at me, I got all tens in the things I said I was going to do for 2023. First of all, you probably wouldn't believe me. But second of all, it's just not who I am. So I appreciate that. All right, let's see. Catherine Muhammad. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the one I wanted. Oh, yes, it is. I'm in retirement, wanted to make updates on my house and to travel. I did a little of both. Congratulations. Good for you. Good for you. And I wonder if that is something that you will continue to work on in 2024. And if so, if you have more defined, a more defined goal that would help you to feel like you did more than a little of both. I think that's another thing that can keep us from reaching our goals, is that our goals aren't really specific enough. Like for me, one of the ones is that I feel like I did well with, but feel like it's hard for me to gauge, is I had a goal of continuing to build my business. And I did that, right? I had more members sign up this year. I had, as I spoke about earlier, my first in-person event, and 6 amazing women from my program came to Marseille, and we had an amazing weekend where we bonded, connected in a way that I didn't expect. And so that will be something that I will continue this year, is to do another in-person event. Not sure where that will be. And I know it will be for members of the program, but I might have a portion of that open to a broader community. So stay tuned for that. So that's one thing that I did in building my business. I grew my YouTube channel. It has grown tremendously. And thank you all for watching and liking and subscribing. All of that helps with the algorithm in, getting my videos out to more and more people. So be sure to like this video and share it with your friends. So being more specific or laser, very specific with your goals helps, because then you'll know if you hit it or you didn't, and you can really be transparent with yourself. Other things I did with the business was I had 2 people move. Well, that was last year, but in this year I did the case studies, the success stories for a woman who moved to Paris, and Sharon, who is on the call now, who moved to Portugal. And in doing that, sharing success stories of women who are walking the talk is incredible, because it helps build a belief that it's possible, and it's possible for different people, different kinds of people, to do that thing. And so that's important to me, because why I do what I do is because I don't want people to have regrets about wanting to have done something, but having been too afraid to do it, and then getting to the end of their life regretting that. I think that is a very, very sad affair. And so that's a big reason why I do what I do. So I'm going to pause here and look at some more comments. Let's see what Sharon has to say. I see the time element of a goal as something to reach for, something maybe like the saying goes, within your reach, but beyond your grasp. If you just keep stretching, you'll get there. See the element of a goal as something to reach for. Time element of the goal, so something to reach for. So, and that is kind of out of your grasp sometimes, but something to stretch for. Yes. And I think that that's what makes goals so powerful, right? Is that time element, right? If you don't have a time element, it's really not a goal, right? It's not really that specific, it's hard to classify it as a goal. So yes, right. Yes, I agree with that, Sharon. Thank you. All right. Let's see what else we got. You got me. I hope I'm saying that right. I ran a half marathon this year. Wow. Congratulations. More power to you. That is not something I ever see myself doing. I didn't reach my goal of earning money outside of my day job to support a move abroad. All right. Well, so, is that something that you still are looking to do? And if so, what was it that kept you from doing that? Right. That would be interesting to kind of unpack, so that you can, if this is something you want to do in 2024, to work to achieve in 2024, you can say, oh, this was the thing that held me up. And so I need to find a solution or a way around that, so that I can then next year at this time say, yeah, I knocked it out of the park, and I got more money to make this move abroad. All right. So good. Thank you. Yes. Linda Houston, a goal without a plan is just a dream. Yes. And I think we all need dreams, but at some point, if we're serious about achieving that dream, we need to put a plan in place, the timeline, what reaching that goal looks like. What are the things that mean that you have achieved success? And then how are you going to get there? What things are you going to do to hold yourself accountable to actually achieve that? So yes, a goal without a plan is just a dream. Okay. So I'm going to move on to some more. I'm losing track of where I am. Okay. For the new intentions, I put down learn Spanish at a basic level. And I gave myself a 7 on this. Maybe I could give myself an 8 on this, but I gave myself a 7 only because I'm comparing it to how passionate and dedicated I had been before I moved to France, to learning French. Like, I did Pimsleur method every day on my walk. If I didn't do it in the morning and it was in the evening and I hadn't gotten it done, I'd go out and take my walk to get it done. With Spanish, I'm using the Pimsleur method, and also I've enrolled in a class here in France. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I'm a little bit less motivated with the Spanish. I think, one, because my French is my language. It's the language that really lights me up. But two, learning Spanish, I don't intend to move to Spain. I want to visit Spain more frequently, and that will definitely come in handy. But it's not something that is do or die, right? If I don't learn Spanish, I don't learn Spanish. So it might be harder when I go to a parking garage and I have an incident again in trying to figure it out. But it's not like every day I'm in a place and I'm struggling to communicate, and it's frustrating. So I think that's one of the reasons that I have kind of not been so aggressive or as aggressive or assertive or dedicated to learning Spanish is that that energy is just not there. But having said that, I do my Pimsleur 4 times, typically 4 times a week on my own. And then I do have my French class here in town. There's uh, a cafe that has lots of different cultural activities. You can learn English, you can learn Spanish, you can have Spanish conversation, you can learn the harmonica. I mean, it's a really vibrant community. And so I signed up for the Spanish class. And I enjoyed the class because I'm learning Spanish through through a French lens, right? Because the class is taught in French, and so I'm learning the different cultural elements, not only of Spain, because my teacher is Spanish, and the other students are interested in Spanish culture, but then also they're comparing Spanish culture to French culture and some things that maybe I don't know. So that has been an amazing experience for me. So I give myself a 7 on that. Maybe I could be an 8, but the reason it's a 7 is because, well, if I did it every day, I feel like I would have knocked it out of the park. I'd be that much further along. One thing that I do want to start doing next year, and I've been with the French, I've had conversation exchanges with 2 different people this year. One person I'm no longer doing that with, so I have probably space to start doing that in Spanish. My concern or hesitation there is my Spanish and my ability to speak Spanish is not good. And so it might be challenging for somebody to listen to that for a half hour in exchange for me listening to them in English for a half hour. But I think that's the next step, because speaking is the way through. It's so important to you might sound stupid, or you might feel like, I just can't even express the simplest thing. But that is just, it's the way through. And you're not going to stay that long, as long as you continue to practice and dedicate time to doing it. So I know that because of French, but it's still hard to get started or restarted with a different language in a conversation exchange partnership. So, but I think that might be something that's on the radar for 2024. In addition to that, I do want to spend at least a month in Spain, maybe southern Spain, in an immersive program, so that I can just really kind of break through a little bit. So then it gets easier, and maybe I'll be more motivated to be more committed to language practice as well. So so 7 there for the Spanish. Another one. Oh, did I go through them all? Did I go through them all? I think I did. I think I hit them all. So what questions do you have for me? I'm going to go through this again to make sure I check them all. But what questions do you have for me about my life in France? About, well, anything. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. So yes, continue the spirit of equanimity. Yes. Building community. Yes. Improve my French and French diction. Yes. Continue building my business. Yes. Learn Spanish at a basic level. Yes. 2 house sits. Yes. Write the manuscript for my 3rd book. Yes. And become a TEDx talker. Become a TEDx talker. Become a TEDx speaker. Yes. So yeah, that covers out my list of things for next year. Spanish is still on there. Continuing to build community is on there. Continuing to build my business. And I do next couple of days need to kind of get really specific in terms of what it is that by this time next year I want to see in terms of numbers of people in the program, maybe changes to the program, that sort of thing, so that I feel more confident in, oh yeah, I continue to build my business. Well, what does that really mean? No, I will have specific things. So definitely need to sit down and look at that. I will for next year, I will continue to do these lives because people seem to love them. Next month, actually, I have lined up a couple of guest speakers. Valerie Aston, who is from Start a Business in France. She helps people get set up in a business in France, from conception to, helping with the business plan and marketing, or, either before you move, or if you're here and you need help with that, she sets that up. So we'll have a good conversation with her next month. Also, I'm going to be speaking with Giovanna May Reese, who is living in Brunei, and her story is really interesting. She was a principal of a school who got burned out, and about 6 months ago, she stepped out on faith, she and her family, and they moved to Brunei. And so we're going to talk about things you need to know if you want to teach in a foreign country. And so that'll be an interesting one. And then Jennifer Abernathy, who has Mod Life, an organization that helps women 49 and plus kind of see things through a new light. Living better longer is her slogan. And so that's going to be an interesting conversation too. Next month as well, I am going to be a guest speaker in the Future Expats Meetup. And that's with Christopher Wells, who I did an interview with, or did a collaboration with here on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. And that's going to be, I believe, the 13th of January. So in the description on YouTube, you can see a link to where you can sign up for that meetup and take advantage of that. Okay. So I do see one question here. All right. And hold on a second. It's from Igami. Do you use vision boards? How do you prioritize and stay motivated on your goals? So I have a vision board. I look at, it's right by my bed. So I see it when I wake up. It's a little bit demotivating for me because some of the things that are on there have been on there for a while. Like I would like to purchase a house here. And so that is, still in the works. And I don't necessarily see that as something that's going to happen tomorrow. So, but I have it, and I know there's value in having that. But sometimes I feel like it demotivates me. And then how do I prioritize and stay motivated on my goals? I think what who was it said? Who was it who said something about being in alignment with them? Here. Southern Rose Tia D said, to get back to your truest desires and create goals from that space. So I think on the level of prioritization and on motivation, I think that really helps. Understanding, in my program, the first thing that members do is they go through an exercise about what's your why. Why is it that you want to move abroad? Why are you going to turn your life upside down so that you can live in a different country where the culture is going to be different and things are going to be harder, at least in the beginning, to do that? What's the motivation? And what's the why? Well, because I want to live in a different culture. It's not just that, right? It's going deeper too. Okay. And so why is that important to me? Well, because I value different points of view. And why is that important to you? And so if you can drill down to what's at its core, what core value that will help you to fulfill or honor more fully, then it's easier. Then it's easier to say, oh, this is my number one priority, because then when I reach that will help fill in the holes for these other values that I feel like are missing in my life. And when you create the why, which helps you stay motivated when it gets hard, right? Because moving abroad is challenging. You have to, overcome obstacles, right? Things might not be clear, or maybe you'll have a misstep, or maybe you'll have to change the date. You said, oh, I wanted to move in January of 2024, and well, I haven't saved up enough money, or whatever the thing that keeps you from moving. You might have to push back the date, and that can be demotivating. But when you look at the why, the deeper why, the reason that you're doing this thing in the first place, you're like, oh yeah, okay, another 3 months, another 6 months, I can hold out, because this thing that I'm working toward is really something that's going to fulfill me. It's going to help me experience the kind of life I want to experience. So, Agami, I hope that helps with that question. All right, so guest speakers, people are pumped to hear guest speakers. Yes, and I, want to talk to somebody. I have somebody who is the downsizing designer. I can't remember her slogan, but after she went on a trip to Africa and she saw how little they had, but how happy they were, she went back home to her spacious house and she moved into a small house in Center City, Philadelphia, and is happier than she ever was in the bigger house with all of the things. And so she works with people to downsize. And I think getting rid of stuff before a move can be a challenge. It can be one of the bigger challenges that people might not even realize is going to catch up with them in the end. I know before I moved, the last 3 weeks before I moved, I was scrambling to get rid of the stuff and I wasn't sure what to do with the stuff. So I think that's something that is a common situation. So I think that might be a good guest speaker. And then somebody, I don't know of anybody. So if you know, you're excited about guest speakers, if you know somebody who works with money mindset to help, help people move out of the scarcity mindset into the abundance mindset, that because I think that's another big concern that holds people back is maybe they have some savings, right? But maybe they don't think it's enough and they're not ready to step out on faith on that because of a scarcity mindset, because their money mindset is caught up in, like mine was, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, So you don't quit a job if you don't have one to go to, right? That was hard for me to overcome. I did it because I felt like I had to get to France. Something was waiting for me here, but that was tied up with money, right? So if any of you know of somebody who's good with money mindset, I'd love to speak to them. So, and those are just some ideas. If you have other ideas, let me know what those are. All right, so I've covered my 8 things that I set out to do this year, and I feel pretty good about it. I feel like I did okay. Next year, if I set intentions for next year, I haven't decided. Maybe I'll do another video like I did at the beginning of this year and really kind of hone in on that. I think it's good because it challenges me. It makes me, it's put up or shut up, right? So if I say it, then I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of have to do this thing. And I think it's helped because if I hadn't said, oh, I'm going to finish the draft of my manuscript this year, I wouldn't be scrambling this week. I wouldn't be, getting up at 6 and starting writing to get some of this taken care of. I'd be like, well, whatever. Yeah, next month. There's always next month. And who knows when that would get done. So I think there's value in there can be value in putting it out, putting your intentions out with the right people. And if you're in a space where you are confident in, people who might, be haters, say, oh yeah, why do you want to do that? Or, yeah, I'm good. If you don't understand, that's okay. I'm just going to ignore you. But some people, that is not where they are yet. And so sharing with people who aren't, that aren't in your corner is not necessarily a good thing. But for me, I like to put it out there because my word is my bond. So definitely helps. All right. So I see that I don't see any more questions. I'm going to give it another minute or so for questions to come through. I did want to share with you that, as I said in the beginning, I help single women who are ready to stop being sick and tired of having this goal, having this dream to live in a foreign country. And they're tired of telling people, oh yeah, one day I'm going to, and they're ready to just start the next chapter of their lives and experience the freedom, the feeling of freedom and contentment that they have lost in the country they're currently living in. And I help them do that by going through a series of exercises I spoke a little bit about in the Carefree Expat Incubator program that takes you through what's your why, right? So that you can really drill down into a solid why that you come back to time and time again, that motivates and helps you prioritize and motivates you. It takes you through a series of exercises to kind of understand, okay, I don't see myself moving abroad. You know, if I move abroad, you're not saying when. It helps you move from if to when, because it helps you to walk in, to step into that self-identity of the kind of person who moves abroad confidently and sustainably. I think there are stages for that. There are the stages of, oh yeah, if I move abroad, then you move into the stage of when I move abroad, right? And then once you're abroad, one of the members of my program moved December 1st, and I'm sure she's going through this too, where, okay, now I'm moved abroad, now what? And there could be that doubt, but there's that need to set goals and continue on to build that confidence, that self-identity of, oh yeah, I'm the kind of person who actually does this and does this long term. And I think that that's the beauty of the program, because you get into the program, you build your why, you create these beliefs and habits that get you to move abroad. And then when you move abroad, you still have access to the program, so that if you do hit hiccups, or you still need to continue to build so that you get solidly rooted in your new country, you can do that. And then that third aspect of the program is all about the planning. It's all about the planning. I'm a project manager. It's so important to, look at the things you need to do to close out your old life in your old country. Look at the things you need to set up ahead of your getting to your new country and working that plan. And the program has that online curriculum, as well as a group coaching and mentoring component, which is amazing. The conversations that we have, yes, I facilitate. I will coach you through an issue that you might have in moving through something. But the other women on the call, they add so much value to the experience, because they are in your court, they're doing the same thing, and they have different experiences from mine. So it's just really, really beneficial. So that is the program. And if that's something that sounds like could help you to get to the next level, if you're ready to stop saying one day, or if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels, then be sure to schedule a call with me. And you can do that by going to thecouragecatalyst.com future expat, right? And you can schedule some time with me, and we have a conversation to see where you are, what's holding you back, if our working together is the right fit for you. And if so, we can get you started right away. Okay. So what questions do you have for me before I wrap this up? No other questions? Well, I really, really appreciate you and your time joining live. If you are joining from the future, if you are joining on the replay, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you found value in this. If you did, be sure to like. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, be sure to do that, and share this video with other people you think will benefit from it. All right. So let's see, there's another. Okay, curated style says, based on your money mindset, at Money Mindset Coach Malika and Picky Girl. Yeah, she's great. So I need to reach out to them. All right, thank you, curated style, for that. And this is, what is your favorite way to celebrate your accomplishments? This is a hard one. I don't think I do this well enough. At the start of every coaching call that we have, I always celebrate the wins of my members. And I'm always, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I have a win. And I'm like, oh, that's a win. That's a win. I think that I am less my cheerleader than I am other people's. So, but I think, small things. Sometimes I like to treat myself to a pastry. I don't eat a lot of sweets, even though I am in France, where the pastries are, number one, beautiful, but number two, delicious. But doing something that I typically don't do, get my nails painted. But I don't necessarily, one of the things I think I look forward to is, and I'm doing online dating now. So I look forward to when I have a partner who I can share those wins with. I think that's one thing that is missing for me. And I think when that's there, then I think I will be able to feel more excited about my accomplishments, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. All right. Thank you for that question. All right. All right. So I don't see any other questions. I once again thank you for joining live or on the replay. And I will see you in the next live stream or next video. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.